Hey everyone, welcome to Retro Rewind Reviews, where we take a trip down memory lane and revisit some of the greatest films ever made. I'm your host, Chris, and today we're talking about one of the most iconic films of all time, Rocky from 1976, directed by John G. Avildsen and written by its star, Sylvester Stallone. This film isn't just about boxing, it's a story of grit, determination, and the underdog's fight to beat the odds. So, lace up your gloves, and let's go 15 rounds with Rocky. Rocky is more than just a sports movie. At its core, it tells a deeply human story of determination, struggle, and self-respect. The film follows Rocky Balboa, a down-and-out boxer from Philadelphia who has never had a chance to make it big. He spends his days working as a debt collector for a loan shark and fighting in small local matches. Stallone's performance is remarkable in its subtlety. Rocky is portrayed as a quiet, almost simple man, but with an undeniable inner strength and resilience. What sets Rocky apart isn't his boxing prowess, but his heart. His character embodies the idea that it's not about how hard you hit, but how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, a theme that resonates throughout the film. Stallone, who also wrote the script, imbues the character with a sense of realism and vulnerability. The dialogue feels natural, and Rocky's interactions with those around him, his trainer Mickey, his best friend Paulie, and his love interest Adrian, are filled with nuance. These relationships ground the film, adding emotional depth beyond the boxing ring. The relationship between Rocky and Adrian Talia Shire is a core component of the film. Adrian's shy and introverted nature contrasts sharply with Rocky's rough, streetwise persona, and it's in their awkward yet sincere interactions that we see a different side of Rocky. Their romance is understated, developing slowly and organically, which makes it all the more touching. Rocky's love for Adrian isn't grand or overt, but it's pure and genuine. This love becomes his anchor, his motivation to prove that he's worth something, not to the world, but to himself and to her.
I'll wait for you here.
Well, how about I wait here and you fight, huh? You know, you're looking very great today, you know that? I gotta go now, but don't you leave town, huh? Wish me luck, I'm gonna need it.
Good luck.
Say, Adrian, you don't think this robe here is too baggy, you know?
Good luck.
Meanwhile, Mickey, Burgess Meredith, Rocky's hardened trainer, represents a tough love figure, pushing Rocky to his limits while also recognizing his potential. Their mentor-student relationship has depth, as Mickey embodies both the disappointment of unfulfilled dreams and the hope that Rocky can succeed where he couldn't.
You know, I've been coming in for 6 years, and 6 years you've been sticking it to me. I want to know how come.
You don't want to know.
Yeah, I want to know how come.
You want to know?
I want to know how.
Okay, I'm going to tell you. Because you had the talent to become a good fighter. And instead of that, you became a leg breaker. Some cheap, second-rate loan shark.
It's a living?
It's a waste of life.
What makes Rocky stand out is how it portrays the sport of boxing. It's not about glorifying the violence or even the competition. Instead, the boxing matches serve as a metaphor for life's struggles. The film's pacing reflects this, as it builds slowly, with Rocky's life outside the ring taking center stage for much of the film. The actual fight against Apollo Creed, played by Carl Weathers, doesn't happen until the final act, but it's not about winning. In fact, Rocky doesn't win the match in a traditional sense. He loses by a split decision, but that's the point. The film isn't about the victory. It's about Rocky proving to himself that he can go the distance, that he's not a bum like everyone around him seems to believe. His triumph is internal, and that's where Rocky separates itself from other sports films of its era. John G. Avildsen's direction is also crucial to the film's success. He gives Philadelphia a gritty, lived-in feel, and the setting becomes almost a character in itself. The streets are cold, rough, and unforgiving, much like Rocky's journey. The now iconic training montage, where Rocky runs through these streets, finishing with his triumphant run up the steps of the Philadelphia Museum of Art, is perhaps one of the most famous scenes in cinematic history. Bill Conti's score, particularly the track Gonna Fly Now, perfectly captures the spirit of the film: hopeful, determined, and triumphant. The movie's ultimate message is one of perseverance. Rocky's story is about how life can knock you down, but if you keep getting up, you've already won. This theme resonates deeply with audiences because it taps into a universal experience. We all face challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt about our self-worth, where we question whether we're capable of achieving our dreams. What makes Rocky so powerful is that it reframes the idea of success. It's not about the accolades or the victory. Instead, it's about the strength it takes to keep going in the face of overwhelming odds. Rocky reminds us that success isn't always defined by coming out on top. Sometimes, true success is simply enduring the fight and standing at the end, battered but unbroken. This message of perseverance is amplified by the real-life story of Sylvester Stallone, who was, much like Rocky, an underdog himself. Stallone wrote the script for Rocky during a period of financial and career hardship. At the time, he was a struggling actor with little recognition in Hollywood, living on almost nothing. The idea for Rocky came to him after watching a 1975 match between Muhammad Ali and Underdog Chuck Wepner, a fight that inspired Stallone to explore the theme of a man given one shot to prove his worth. Much like the fictional Rocky, Stallone refused to give up on his vision. Despite being offered substantial money for the screenplay, he turned down the offers unless he was allowed to play the lead role. Stallone's determination to star in the film, despite having no major acting credits, mirrored Rocky's journey in the ring. He was fighting for his chance to show the world he was more than just another nameless face.
Well, I felt at the time that cinema, at least the movies I had been seeing, were at an all-time low. Everything was anti-society, anti-Christ, anti-government, anti-everything, and there was no one to root for. And I also feel that films are very cyclic, so I wanted to get back into the cycle of the films of the 40s and the 50s, where people say, hey, gee, I missed the good old films, yet Hollywood hasn't taken heed and hasn't made any good old-fashioned type films where morality was at the forefront. So I took the opportunity to write this particular film, of course, being somewhat selfish because I had myself in mind for it, but that was the main motivation.
When Rocky was released, it became a massive success, grossing over $225 million worldwide and earning 10 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actor for Stallone. It won Best Picture and Best Director, cementing its place in cinema history. But beyond its accolades, Rocky is beloved because it speaks to the human spirit. It's not flashy or overly complex, but it's real, raw, and inspiring. Whether you're a fan of boxing or not, Rocky is a film that resonates because it's ultimately about fighting for something more important than a title. It's about fighting for self-respect.